defeat the incumbent by doing whatever it is he did, and then he looks in the mirror and he says, "Well, what am I going to do now?" All right, we just didn't do that. We cannot shape foreign policy in another country. All right, the old expression, "Be careful what you wish for because it may come true." Well, we overturned Saddam Hussein, and the people elected whoever they elected, and that was the person who was responsible for the rise of ISIS. He had Bush's backing, this country's backing, okay? And, it's like in Egypt, after we got rid of Mubarak, and the Muslim Brotherhood came in, all right? The people voted. Well, you can't just remove somebody because his policies are not going to be pro-American, especially in that region. Nothing is guaranteed. Well, we got shafted by the Muslim Brotherhood in Egypt and by whoever took over in Iraq. So that's why I say, don't blame Obama for that.
You could blame.
He inherited that.
Yeah, you can blame him for pulling out. That's what you can blame him for. I know there was also some deals cut and all that, but reality is he shouldn't have pulled out at that point.
Well, the American people were getting tired of Iraq because by then it was already understood that Bush lied because there were no weapons of mass destruction. So Bush lied. They wanted the troops home. People were getting restless. Not to mention, America made a big mistake when they started to deploy soldiers, send them into Iraq or Afghanistan for more than one deployment. In Vietnam, you went for 11 months and you came back and that was it. You had to volunteer to go back. Okay? When you have professional soldiers, and yes, they're professional soldiers, I know what everybody says, well, when they signed up, they knew what they were signing up for. Well, if your country is in a war, you sign up for the war, for the duration, but you don't sign up for multiple deployments.
You sign up, and that's it. There's no multiple. You sign up, and you can get out in 4 years. A lot of these people that are doing the multiple deployments are re-upping.
Yeah, but those people who enlisted for an initial 4 years, within those 4 years, they might have had at least 3 deployments to Iraq or Afghanistan.
And a lot of them are re-upping and continuing on and doing 8.
And why
10,
are they
12.
doing that? They're doing that because there are no jobs in the pub. There are no jobs for them.
Obamacare.
No, what does that have to do with anything?
Obama.
It doesn't have anything to do with that.
Obama's not creating jobs.
Republicans like to say this. It's not the government's responsibility to create jobs. The public sector creates jobs.
Exactly.
So I'll throw that
and
right back in their face.
The public sector needs some stimulation.
Jobs, but unemployment is down.
I know, that's true.
There are 90 million people unemployed, so it's not down.
And the numbers aren't really a true estimation of what it is.
I don't know if you know what the unemployment numbers. It's only the people that are looking for unemployment. But there's millions and millions of people who can't get unemployment anymore and given up looking. And those are not included in any kind of poll. And if you count those people in, there's about 20% of the people in the United States are unemployed.
Well, I'll give one thing that I don't like that Obama did was that he did away with the extended unemployment. So once your 26 weeks are up, you can't get an extension. That
Actually,
I don't agree with.
Unemployment is almost virtually guaranteed for 1 year. At the end of the 26 weeks, very few people are turned down for an extension of another 6 months. But that's as far as it goes.
And after that, and after those 18 months, those people are not in the statistics anymore.
No, 12 months, 1 year.
No, you said after something get extended.
Yeah, after 6 months, you get an extension for another 6
Yeah,
months.
okay. All right, so whenever they get off
No, you don't
unemployment,
get I don't think you can get the extension anymore.
No, you can. Unemployment is
Wow.
basically guaranteed for a year.
all I'm saying is, and Lisa, I think you understand also, after 1 year, when you're no longer unemployed,
I know.
collected employee, you are now
You drop off the record. So the bottom line is you're not counted
as
in
unemployed.
In the unemployment.
Right.
You're not counted as
Right.
unemployed.
Right.
So
I
that
know.
number is up to about 20%.
I know.
So that's 20% of the population unemployed. Forget about this 4.3. This
And-
was this they changed. They stopped they started using this particular formula. I don't know, some years back. They always didn't use this particular formula.
Yeah, I think it's a Pythagorean theorem: a squared plus b squared equals c squared.
Yeah. So this thing of 4.3, 4.7, and a lot of those people that are employed are working 2-3 jobs. Most of them don't have medical insurance. An extremely large percentage of the people are taking the penalties instead of getting the insurance.
Well, you're reverting back to Obamacare. That has nothing to do with the economy.
Well, it certainly does. If you listen to me, you're forcing employers to give insurance that's very expensive. So they lay off people instead of doing it. That's number one. That's okay. And
Do
also,
you know what the penalty is? Do you know what the penalty is for not having insurance?
not high.
Do you know what they take out when you do your taxes? They take between $300 and $600 out. It's about $600 now. And the reason why I know is because they were doing it to Scott. I made Scott get himself insurance.
Insurance these days is way too expensive.
What is that?
It's a lot more expensive than it was a couple of years ago. And it keeps rising.
Every year it goes up.
Yep. That's because of Obamacare. It never rose like this. So, it's a great idea having universal health care. But this is not universal health care.
And you know why they got stuck with what they got stuck with? Because for the most part, every Republican
Was against
and a few of the Blue Dog Democrats in 2009, okay, who were afraid of their jobs, voted for a cap of not more than $1 trillion. They knew that if they got to $1 trillion, nobody would want to pass it. And like I said before on this show, economists like Paul Krugman said that what the government should have done, what the Treasury should have done, is like when you're playing a game of Texas Hold'em. You go all in, you give the economy as much money as they need to get back on their feet, and then you worry about knocking down the national debt after people start recovering. But they didn't do that. That's why this has been the slowest recovery in history. Okay?
Who has the highest corporate taxes in the world?
We do.
Okay. Do you think that gives incentive for corporations to produce here, to bring money in here? No, they go all.
Nobody is. What they want to do is they want to readjust the corporate tax structure so that companies will stay here, but at the same time they also want to readjust the tax structure for the ordinary taxpayer
to make it lower.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's the Republicans, not the Democrats.
No, I don't know about that.
That is. The Democrats want to raise the taxes.
No, Sanders wanted to raise. Sanders wanted.
Wouldn't the Republicans want to raise taxes?
No,
Yeah,
Republicans are for reducing taxes.
They're the ones that always want to raise the taxes.
No, Republicans are the ones that always reduce taxes. I mean, this is just a fact. Mark will note. Democrats spend large government Republicans don't spend small government.
No, that's true. But, like Bernie Sanders said, I don't think he explained it well because I think, a lot of the millennials and everybody think that their taxes are only going to go up $1,000 and they're going to get free college, free medical, and everything else that Bernie wants to give them. Well, the bottom line is $1,000 per person who's working is not going to nearly cover what all this is going to cost the government, okay, to provide single-payer health care, which is basically, Donald Trump does want single-payer health care, okay? The Democrats agree that the Affordable Health Care Act has to be tweaked, that there are a lot of mistakes, but there's so much wrong with a lot of other things that they haven't gotten around to it. Nobody wants to mention it, and that'll become the problem, really, of the next president, whether it's going to be Trump or Hillary.
Which is what? I'm sorry, I didn't understand what you said.
Tweaking the Affordable Health Care Act. There are a lot of ways that they could make it improve, that they can improve it, make it better, and not so costly for the people who bought into it. Okay?
Well, why isn't Obama doing it now?
Because there are other things that are more pressing, and it's not being... Well, the Republicans tried to kill Obamacare 50 times, but they wanted to do away with it completely. Their bills said nothing about improving it. They had no alternative, but they said, let's just get rid of it. Well, the alternative is that 11 million people are covered now in insurance who were not covered before. Okay? It was very nice that college kids were allowed to stay under their parents' plan till they're 26. When I was 21 and graduating from college, I had to get a job where I had insurance because I was no longer covered under my parents' plan. But I knew that would be important to me. A lot of young people today, like I said, they think that they are impervious to any ill health, that nothing bad is ever going to happen to them. And the bottom line is you're only one accident away from bankruptcy. Okay? Get into a car accident or get hospitalized for any great length of time because you have an illness, and you will be paying medical bills for the rest of your life.
Yep, you will.
But, I think while it's an important topic to discuss, I think we're sort of digressing because this whole thing started out with that racist pastor and what he had to say. Okay?
Well, I'm gonna when Chad goes on, I'm gonna play it again.
No, don't play it again because it's offensive. Just tell him what the pastor said, and that the pastor said that, the government basically should put out a hit on everyone who's gay, and he equates homosexuality.
Send him the link and let him hear it himself.
He equates homosexuality with pedophilia, and like I said before, do a study of the pedophiles that are in prison or the ones that have registered for the National Registry, and you're going to find that
most of the heterosexuals,
over 50%, closer to 70%, like you just said, they're heterosexuals.
Listen, it doesn't hurt for people to hear somebody like this pastor to show the other side where there are people in the United States that feel this way.
Yeah, but I mean, what you did by playing it like that without any kind of intro, okay,
was for shock purpose. Yeah.
Well, it certainly shocked me. I didn't know where the hell you were going with that.
So fast?
I didn't know where you were going with that. But look, it's all across the country, but in Middle America and down south and in West Virginia and in the mountains of Oklahoma, yeah, you find a lot of this stuff. Just like during before World War II, or at the time of World War II,